What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be working on Dad's car back here. This is a 2009 Toyota RAV4. We're going to be doing a radio replacement on his vehicle as well with a backup camera. Come on back and I'll show you what we have. Here we have a ratchet wrench set with all the goodies inside. We're going to use this extension, these metal picks, the strip tool, these connectors, these plastic pry tools, a Phillips screwdriver, this is the radio unit, and the backup camera. Let's get to it. Let's start by removing both sides of the radio with the plastic tool. Pry under it, just like that, and we can get it off. Now take off this electrical connector for the hazard lights and put the piece aside. And do the same thing for the left side, just like I'm doing here. Nice and easy, so you don't break it. Just like that. And now we can put it aside. Now let's get to the screws that are under these plastic covers, right here. Taking the ratchet wrench and the extension, we are going to be attaching this 10mm socket on it, and we're going to be removing all 4 of the screws. Alright, now we have to just give it a nice pull on it and the radio will come right off. Let's start disconnecting all the plugs on the back of it, just like I'm doing here. Alright, time to unbox the new radio unit and see what comes with it. Alright, now let's start by plugging all the connectors that come with the new radio. They plug right into the original harness of the vehicle. You just gotta find which one goes with which one. It's like playing a puzzle. And we do the same thing on the back of the radio. Find which cable goes with which connector in the back and just plug it right in. That we finish installing everything on the radio, it's time to put it together with the harness of the vehicle so we can finish the actual installation of it. Let's start by plugging in the main connector to the car, just like that. Click. And now we take the original antenna cable and plug it into the radio unit as well. Now we can continue. Now let's take the harness that comes with the backup camera. We're gonna take the yellow connector and connect it with the radio CCD AV in, as you can see right here. And now the red cable that is attached to it, we are going to be attaching it to the radio's reverse cable. We're gonna be using these red connectors to put them together, and the strip tool, of course. Alright, now it's time to run the cables to the back of the car. Now this step is really easy because there's a lot of space inside of here. You see my hand down here? You can feed the cables right through that hole right there. Let's do it. Now on this step we're going to remove this plastic molding down here, as you can see, where the traction control button is. Popped off. Let's put it back. Now let's take this empty space right here. We're going to take off the plastic cover that has on it, and we're going to be feeding our USB cables right through it. To do that, we're going to tie them together and feed them to the bottom. We're going to fish it through the bottom right there, and now we can feed it through these holes right here. Now we just push it back until it clicks, and then it's back into its normal place. Now let's take the radio and gently click it onto place and put back the plastic moldings. As you can see, this new radio unit doesn't use screws, so we're only gonna be installing back the plastic moldings, and we're gonna be all set with it. The small plastic piece that we removed before, we're gonna be doing a small incision on the side of it so we can feed our USB cables on the side and have a better cable management and a better look. Now under the glove box there's this screw that we're gonna be removing with our hand, so we can take off the plastic covers on the side of the car where all the cables run through. And under the glove box as well, there's another cover that we can remove by just unclipping these two clips, and we can get it out of the way. Now let's take our 10mm again with a ratchet wrench and unscrew it so we can get our GPS cable right above it and run it to the top. Now we can take some zip ties and secure the cable right under the glove box so we can have a good cable management. Next we take our camera cable, and we're gonna be running it under the glove box as well, and we're gonna be using the original vehicle cable holders, as you can see right there, and we're gonna be running it under all the plastics all the way to the back of the car. To remove this cover, we need to take off the screw that holds the seat belt right at the bottom. With your pick, you can take off the rubber piece that holds it, and a 14mm socket would do the trick to take it up. And now that we finished taking the screw off, we can remove the molding gently so we don't break anything. That one and this one right here in the center. Take off the clips that were left behind and put it back on the molding so we don't lose them, and we can continue running our cables. Now back here, to continue running our cables, we need to remove all these screws that I'm showing you right here so we can get access to the back of this plastic cover. First we're going to use a Phillips screwdriver to take out 2 of these screws. For this one we're going to take our ratchet wrench and our 10mm and take it right out. Right, now let's take our plastic tool and start prying under this cover right here gently so we don't break it, but apply a little bit of force so we can take it right out. Now for this bottom screw we're going to continue using our 10mm. Alright guys, let's switch it out this time for a 14mm so we can take off this last screw. Now let's start prying on the top of this plastic cover so we can get it free. Unfortunately it's still not free, so let's start by removing all the moldings in the back, like this one right here. And now we can take our screwdriver, remove 2 screws that holds this pocket down on the right side, and on the left side as well, so we can take it completely off. There's some clips on the bottom as well that are gonna stay with the car. So let's take our prying metal tool, take them off, put them on it so we don't lose it, and continue with our work. This is a little bit hard working around this big plastic thing. So let's take off the seat belt screw in the bottom with a 14mm ratchet this time. It's easier if you move the seat forward. Don't do it like me, I'm doing it wrong right now. So just pull the seat forward and you have more space to get to it. Alright guys, time to fit the cables to the back door. So let's take this rubber connector right here and take it right off. Take our knife so we can make a small incision on the side, and that's where we're going to be running our cables through. As you can imagine, fitting the cable through this rubber piece is really hard. So what I find out is good to use your extension tool, feed it through the top, attach the cable on the top of it, and gently pull it down, and it's gonna go right through with minimal effort. And now it's time to take apart the back door. So let's start by removing the light and take our plastic prying tool so we can get it free. It's all on clips, so don't be afraid. Pull them all off, get this plastic off so we can then get good access to all the cables, and we can start fitting it through and attaching it to the original harness on the vehicle. You can see now we are on the back side of the door. Let's take our plate off and the light for the license plate as well, and we're gonna be putting our new camera module on it. To do so, we're gonna take off this plastic molding that holds the license plate away from the door. It's all on clips as well. Be gentle with it so you don't break them. And now we have access to it, and we can run our camera cable first, and we can push it through this rubber piece in the bottom, which is perfect for our cables to come through the inside of the door. Pull them all the way in, and now we can secure our plastic cover again and reattach our license plate. Guys, there's an issue with the license plate light holder. The hole is a little bit too small for it, so we're gonna have to make it bigger to make the light fit on it. So let's take our knife and get the hole a little bit bigger so we can start fitting it. And here we have it. It's looking great, but we're not finished. Let's move into the inside and finish the electrical connections. This one is the power cable that is gonna be turning on our camera. So let's get these two cables right here splitted. We're gonna be taking the RAV cable from it and attaching it to the RAV cable that comes with the harness that ran all the way into the radio. That is gonna be sending the signal to the reverse camera. We're gonna put them together just like this, and we're gonna take one of these electrical attachments so we can secure it, and we can clamp it down with our strip tool. Guys, to complete this next step, you're gonna need a piece of electrical wire about 3 foot long, strip the edges, and we're going to be running it through this rubber piece right here so we can get it all the way to the reverse light. This is gonna be our cable that is going to give the signal to the camera to turn it on. Here we have the reverse light assembly, twisted to the left so you can get it free, and we're gonna be pulling it out of its casing that it's got right now. So to do that, we need to take off this connector back here so we can have a little bit more cable to work with. So let's pull it out just like that. It's on a small clip and it's held by some electrical tape. So let's take our knife and cut it loose so we can have more cable to work with here. Here we go. Now split this other electrical tape that is got on it right now, and we're gonna be cutting the black cable, not the white one. Don't make my mistake that I cut the white cable. It's the black cable, the one that is live, and the one we need to connect to the other cable I just brought in to the inside of the car. So let's get to it. Alright guys, with this step done, we just finished tapping into the reverse light connection. So let's keep working with the cable after we put everything back over here. Alright guys, time to take this cable and tangle it together with the original harness that come with the car, and we're gonna be installing it to the connector that we put on the two red cables before, the one that comes from the camera and from the harness that went all the way back to the radio. After we finished with that, we don't need this cable anymore. I tried installing it, but it didn't work, so that's why I went ahead and installed it directly into the two red cables so we can get that powered, and it'll still work. So this is the best way I find out how to do it, and that's why I'm showing you that. Alright guys, after you finish with all your cable management, let's put everything back together. So come on, let's go. as you can see, we have done the installation on it. It took a little bit. As usual, I show you everything on the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell item so next time I make an upload, you get notifications. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.